Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects us all, even if it feels a world away. We're talking about the Arctic, the Earth's northernmost region, which has just experienced its warmest year on record since ke-1900. This isn't just a weather report. It's a critical signal from our planet, and we need to listen. According to the latest annual Arctic report card from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, this past year has been exceptionally warm. The average surface air temperature in the Arctic was the sixth warmest since records began. But here is the really startling part. The summer of 2023 was the absolute warmest ever recorded in the Arctic. Think about that for a moment. The warmest summer in over 120 years. This isn't an isolated event. It's part of a long-term trend. The Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. This phenomenon is known as Arctic amplification, and it's a feedback loop. As sea ice and the snow melt, the darker ocean and the land surfaces underneath are exposed. These dark surfaces absorb more of the sun's energy instead of reflecting it back into space, which in turn causes more warming and more melting. It's a cycle that's accelerating. Let's break down what this record hit means on the ground. First, the sea ice. Arctic sea ice extent, which is the area of the ocean covered by at least 5% ice, reached its sixth lowest level in the satellite record this September. While it wasn't a new all-time low, the trend is undeniably downward. We're losing vast amounts of multi-year ice, the thick, old ice that acts as the Arctic's permanent freezer. It's being replaced by thinner, seasonal ice that melts away completely each summer. This has profound implications not just for the climate, but for the unique wildlife that depends on this ice, like polar bears and the seals. Then there's the Greenland ice sheet. This massive body of ice, second only to Antarctica's, also felt the heat. The highest point on the Greenland ice sheet, Summit Station, experienced melting for only the 5th time in its 34-year history. This melting contributes directly to global sea level rise. Every drop of water that melts from Greenland and flows into the ocean raises sea levels around the world, threatening coastal communities from Miami to Mumbai. This past year, the ice sheet continued its trend of losing mass, shedding billions of tons of ice into the ocean. But the warming isn't just affecting the ice, it's transforming the entire Arctic landscape. One of the most significant changes is the greening of the Arctic. Warmer temperatures are allowing shrubs and the other vegetation to grow in areas that were once barren tundra. Satellite data shows a clear increase in tundra greenness this year, particularly in North America and Eurasia. While more green might sound like a good thing, it's actually another part of the dangerous feedback loop. Darker vegetation absorbs more heat than the lighter tundra, further accelerating warming. It also disrupts the delicate balance of the tundra ecosystem, affecting everything from caribou migration patterns to the stability of the permafrost. And speaking of permafrost, this permanently frozen ground is thawing at an alarming rate. Permafrost holds vast amounts of trapped carbon from ancient organic matter. As it thaws, microbes break down this material, releasing powerful greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere. This creates yet another feedback loop where warming causes permafrost to thaw, which releases more greenhouse gases, which causes more warming. It's a climate time bomb that we're seeing start to detonate. The impacts are also being felt in the ocean. Ocean temperatures near the surface in parts of the Barents and the Chukchi Seas were a staggering 5 to 7 degrees Celsius warmer than their long-term average this August. Warmer waters are leading to a borealization of the Arctic Ocean. This means that species typically found in subarctic waters, like cod and pollock, are moving northward, displacing native Arctic species that are adapted to colder conditions. This shift is already disrupting traditional fisheries that indigenous communities have relied on for generations. The report also highlights an increase in extreme weather events. Wildfires, for example, have become more frequent and intense. In 2023, Canada experienced its worst wildfire season on record, with massive fires burning across its northern territory, spewing smoke and soot that blanketed North America and even reached Europe. Some of this soot lands on Arctic snow and ice, darkening the surface and speeding up melting. We're also seeing changes in precipitation patterns, with more rain falling instead of snow, even in winter. Rain on snow events create hard ice layers, which can prevent animals like caribou and muskoxen from accessing the food buried beneath. These changes are not abstract scientific observations. They have profound human consequences. Over 4 million people live in the Arctic, including numerous indigenous communities whose cultures and livelihoods are deeply intertwined with the environment. Thawing permafrost is damaging infrastructure, from buildings and the roads to pipelines. Changes in sea ice and the animal populations are threatening food security and the traditional ways of life that have been sustained for millennia. The people of the Arctic are on the front lines of climate change, experiencing its effects first and the most severely. The NOAA report is a comprehensive, data-driven look at a region in crisis. It's a collaboration of over 80 scientists from 13 countries, all coming to the same conclusion: the Arctic is transforming into a fundamentally different environment. The cascading effects of this transformation are not confined to the far north. What happens in the Arctic doesn't stay in the Arctic. The melting ice affects sea levels globally. The changing temperature gradients influence weather patterns far to the south, potentially contributing to more extreme weather in the mid-latitudes where most of US live. The jet stream, the river of fire high in the atmosphere that governs our weather, can become wavier and more erratic due to a warmer Arctic. So, what can we do? The report makes it clear that the primary driver of this warming is human-caused greenhouse gas emissions. The only way to slow down and eventually halt these dramatic changes is to rapidly and drastically reduce our global carbon footprint. This means transitioning away from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources like solar and wind, improving energy efficiency, and protecting and restoring natural ecosystems that store carbon. It's a monumental task, but it's not impossible. It requires concerted action from governments, industries, and individuals. It means supporting policies that promote clean energy, making conscious choices in our own lives to reduce our consumption, and staying informed and engaged on this critical issue. The 2023 Arctic Report Card is more than just a summary of a warm year. It's an urgent call to action. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives into the issues shaping our world. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Stay curious, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next video.